Now we'll comprehensively learn about object-oriented programming. So we have already seen that we are surrounded with objects. So when you look around you, you see a phone, you see a laptop, bike, or a dog, or anything. All of these are real-world objects. And if you want to represent these real-world objects in the programming world, that is when you would need something known as object-oriented programming. Now, we've also learned that when it comes to object-oriented programming, there are two main concepts. So those are classes and objects. So let's start off with a class. So as it is stated over here, a class is nothing but a template or a blueprint for real-world entities. And this class has two things inside it. So one is known as the attribute of a class, and then we have something known as the behavior of a class. So when we talk about attributes, so let's take this example of a phone. Then a phone would have certain properties associated with it. So those properties are color, cost, and battery life, right? So every phone which you take, it will have a certain color associated with it. Similarly, every phone would have a cost associated with it, and every phone would also have a certain value of battery life associated with it. Now these are the properties. Now when it comes to a phone, you can also perform some specific functions with the help of that phone, and that is known as behavior of the phone or behavior of the class over here. So if it's a phone, you can make calls with the phone, you can watch videos on the phone, and you can also play games like PUBG on the phone. So this is what is known as a class. So when you combine properties and behavior into one single template, that is known as a class. So that was a general definition of class. Let's actually see what exactly is a class in Python. So simply put, a class is a user-defined data type. So as we have inbuilt data types such as integer, float, boolean, and string, similarly, we have a user-defined data type. So what do I mean by user-defined data type? Well, this is a data type which you can create by yourself. So mobile over here would be a user-defined data type, and you can assign some values to this mobile user-defined data type. Right. Now, again, as we have seen, a user-defined data type, which is a class over here, would have these two things associated with it, which are attributes and methods. So these attributes are nothing but the properties associated with the class, and these methods are nothing but the behavior of the class, right? So these methods are how you invoke the functions, and these attributes are inbuilt data types. So let's say you can have a color to the phone. Now this would be a string data type. Then you have a cost for the phone. This would be an integer data type. Then you go ahead and make two functions. So play game, right? So you'll just type in def of play game, or you can also type def of make call, and you'll add some block of statements inside those two functions. So this is a class. Let's go ahead and see what are objects. So again, objects are nothing but specific instances of a class. So if mobile is our class, then we could have different brands of mobiles, right? It's not that we just have one single brand of a mobile phone. You have Apple, Motorola, Samsung, and there are infinitely many other brands. So these other brands of mobile phones are what are known as objects of the class phone. Now, as it is stated over here, right? So these are nothing but the specific instances of the mobile data type, and these are the data types. So these are inbuilt data types. So as you see, I'm assigning the value 10 to A, 20 to B, and 30 to C. Similarly, let's say if our object name is Apple, then we can have this particular object associated with it. Similarly, the class is phone, and we have an object named Motorola. Similarly, the class is phone, and we are assigning this object called Samsung to it.